I used to say that AI scared the shit out of me. But anymore, yeah, it scares me, but it also excites me. And recently, I told a group of college students, if you are not mastering AI and you're at this point in your career, which is the very beginning, you are behind the 8 ball. And for you, the sales professional, the mortgage broker, the real estate agent, if you are not embracing AI, you quickly will fall behind the 8 ball. So in today's episode, we're going to discuss the 5 AI tools all sales professionals should be embracing and how they are best applied. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus. You are tuned in to Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
Yo, what's popping?
You and I are popping, JC.
Right here.
Yes, you and I are popping.
Streets are talking, Dustin.
Yes, we had yesterday Dr. Stacy Wayman joining TLOP. Yes, shout out to Dr. Stacy.
Shout out Dr. Stacy.
I can't wait to have her on the show. Now, I've known Stacy for years. We met through the Mortgage Bankers Association. She is a fellow CMB. She's a graduate of the Future Leaders Program. She's a 30-year banking and mortgage professional who has a superpower, which is helping everyone else discover their superpower. And she has onboarded as our head of coaching.
Yep.
She is our director of faculty and our dean of students.
Holy shit.
Yes, it's kind of like if you and I were Eazy-E, she's going to be the Dr. Dre.
There we go. And then hopefully we don't all turn on each other and stab each other with dirty needles.
Hopefully we don't do any of that. Correct. For anyone who has watched the movie Straight Outta Compton, you know what JC's talking about.
Yeah.
No, but we're super excited.
Yeah.
So it truly is 2025, the year of us getting intentional.
The year of TLOP.
It is the year of TLOP. Yeah, we've already announced Rebecca Richardson joining the faculty.
Yep.
So our faculty just got that much stronger. She's going to have her first call in March.
I know.
And by the way, we're going to make it an open call.
Okay.
Right? We do this usually monthly, but it's something I host called a masterclass. Well, we're going to turn Rebecca's first coaching call into a masterclass.
Nice.
Meaning, whether you're a member of the TLOP Originator Coaching Community or not, you can join us for this one time only and learn with and from Rebecca, who 1/3 of her business comes from her social media influence.
She knows something.
You're talking about someone who has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. Yeah. So like, why not want to come learn from her and eventually be coached by her, because she is a badass mortgage originator who grew up in the industry before social media. So she knows how to make and generate leads the traditional way, as well as the, let's call it the new age way.
There you go.
And speaking of new age, that's what we're going to jump in today.
Okay.
Like, we've been kicking around the can internally as well as externally talking about AI, right? You remember we had the episode 2 years ago now?
Eons ago now.
2 years ago. It was our friend Michelle Mendez with Arch MI. So shout out to Michelle. Shout out to Arch MI. They're a great partner of TLOP.
Partner,
yep, love ourselves some Arch MI. By the way, we love MGIC as well. Like, we love all the MI companies, but Arch has a special spot in our heart, as does MGIC has a special spot in our heart. Dr. Stacy was actually at National MI.
Really?
And you and I have hung out with that crew, Wreck-It Ralph,
Yeah,
right?
shout out
to Ralph Remy, another fellow CMB, et cetera, right? So, shit, now where was I?
Don't look at me.
We were talking about Michelle Mendez, and
Yes,
our very first
yeah.
episode was Michelle coming on and teaching us the most basics on ChatGPT.
This is a prompt. If you think about it now, it's so archaic. But yeah, it was only 2 years ago.
Yeah. And then recently we had Luke Shankula, and we talked a little bit about how Luke, with his company Loans on Demand, is really leveraging AI. I did that top producer panel a couple weeks back that we chatted about, and Mike Fitzpatrick, if you want to go work for a sales leader who truly is embracing technology and doing so in a scalable fashion, that's Mike. So collectively, from our experiences, guys like Mike's experiences and Luke's experiences, we need to do an entire episode on hey, these are the 5 AI tools sales professionals should be using And here's why you would use each tool. That's what this episode is going to be about.
Oh, yeah.
It shouldn't be a super long one. We should be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So the guy that was on YouTube that was trolling us because we did one for branch managers, yet we wasted, according to him, 13 minutes chit-chatting and bullshitting.
If there's a dash after the name followed by random numbers and letters, it's a bot. It's not a real person.
Okay, well, nonetheless, I went back and forth with this bot. I tried to stay polite and professional.
You can't
what I wanted to
argue
say,
with a bot,
what I wanted to
Dustin.
say is, hey, let me go check out your podcast next, so I can give you some corrective criticism.
That's like you yelling in the wind. What do you?
So anyhow, for that guy, I just said to him, look, your fast forward button works.
Fucking 0, 0, and 1s, man. That's all he is.
Your fast forward button works. But for everyone else, we're going to jump right into it. But before we jump into it, let's show some love to today's show sponsor.
Okay.
So today's show was sponsored by our friends at Tomo Mortgage. That's TOMO, Tomo Mortgage.
Okay.
There's a good chance you have not heard of Tomo. But I'm going to promise you this. You fast forward 12 months from now, 24 months, you're going to know Tomo. Yes. Tomo is taking loan origination to the next level. They are consumer direct. They currently operate 3 large call center operations. One is in the tri-state area, like think Connecticut, New Jersey, New York. One is out in the Pacific Northwest, think Seattle. And the other is in Motown, Mortgage Town, Detroit, Michigan.
Word.
Okay. Their website, tomo.com. And if you're a loan originator and you think working for a company that generates online leads, that is purchase only right now, which that's rare for consumer direct. They are purchase only and they are consumer direct. If you're looking to be a part of a company that's trying to be the future of lending and you want to work in an environment where they provide the leads, check out what they're doing over at Tomo. You can even email our girl Tara at Tomo. So her email address is tara@tomo.com. Shout out to Greg Schwartz. He is the founder and CEO. Greg, super smart and successful guy, was basically like employee number 3 or 4 at Zillow and spent like 10, 15 years at Zillow before falling in love with mortgage, which then prompted him to go all in on mortgage, leave Zillow to found Tomo. I had a chance to chat with Greg and I asked Greg straight up, like, Greg, the word Tomo, like, where does it come from? He has a great story about being in Japan with his wife and traveling on the high-speed rail. And he said Tomo is actually coming from the word, I'm probably going to butcher this, but I'll try my best, John. It's omoteneshi or omoteneshi. Omoteneshi basically means we anticipate customer needs and satisfy them without being asked. So Tomo is basically the first 4 letters of that word backwards.
There you go.
So anyhow, Tomo Mortgage, check them out, website tomo.com. And if you're a loan originator looking for career opportunities in the consumer direct field where they provide leads, check out what they're doing. But primarily, I'm thinking you're going to want to be in the Pacific Northwest, in Michigan, or in that tri-state area of Connecticut, New Jersey, New York at this time.
Good job, Dustin.
So thank you, Tara. Thank you, Greg. And shout out to
look at you, man. You're getting good. You're getting good with them reads, man. I was like a kid taking off his training wheels, and now you're like, oh, I'm like, don't hit the flagpole, and you're riding down the street, man. That's good. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud that you're proud of me, John. Shout out to this dude, Jamie. By the way, I did my call for Rocky last night.
Okay.
Oh. Had 60 plus people. Yeah, I did it for 2 hours. I promised 1 hour. I stayed on for 2.
That's usually how it goes.
But Jamie, man, he couldn't help but just tell me how great you were.
What, me?
Oh my God.
Shit.
He couldn't remember your name. He kept on calling you my partner.
Yo, what the fuck is wrong with JC? You say it every episode. Yeah. JC. I don't understand.
Okay, well, anyhow.
That's because you're the real Jay and Silent Bob. That's why I want it, though.
Okay.
You're the podcast guy with Dustin. I sure am. The nameless faceless wonder. All
right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. And I'm going to do this in order that I think most of us know it, right?
Okay.
So most of us know ChatGPT. And at this point, it's like, look, get off the free version, right? Like, what's better? Pandora with commercials or
Spotify paid?
Or hold on, Pandora paid.
Yeah.
And then it's like, what's better, Spotify without the commercials or Spotify paid? Yeah, like at some point, it's time to step up. This is your business we're talking about. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's like tens of dollars a month. But ChatGPT Pro, ChatGPT is being used primarily, think of like your assistant, right? Someone that you can program to be your assistant is where most people are having great success with ChatGPT. What's been your experience with ChatGPT, John?
Actually, I don't use ChatGPT because I'm too bougie. I'm more of a Claude user myself.
Well, I'm going to tell you that you're a Claude user for this reason. I have learned that Claude, and Claude is spelled Claude, but Claude is great for creating content, right? And that's what you and I do for a living, is create content. So our friends who also create content tend to be bougie like you, and they prefer Claude over ChatGPT, although I know plenty of people who are using both ChatGPT and Claude because they use GPT more for, you're going to be my assistant, but Claude, you're going to be my content creator.
Yeah.
And what I love about Claude and why it works, and by the way, ChatGPT works the same way too, is we have to train our assistants and we have to get them to get to know us. So Claude is something that if you're trying to make newsletters, you're trying to make training videos, you're trying to do social media posts, or you're trying to do descriptions of a social media post that you've already created, Claude's great, but Claude's only great if they know who you are.
Right. And
a trick that I know Luke Shankula taught me that we now deploy is they're like, it's as easy as setting up your camera and recording yourself answering 10 or 15 getting to know you questions, and then taking that transcript and then uploading that transcript into Claude so Claude can recognize, hey, this is who you are. So like if it was me, I would say, I am a mid-40 white male with 21 years experience in the mortgage industry. I believe that they don't teach certain things in high school, but they should. The things that they should teach are personal finance, basic sales skills, basic presentation skills. I built my career from the ground up. I know what it's like to be lost, broke, scared, right? Like I would be that detailed, giving these answers, upload it into Claude, everything from I use humor to diffuse situations. I use humor to explain topics that aren't necessarily like fun. And I love leveraging analogies to get points across, right? Like this is how I would want to train Claude. But once I train Claude with all of that, Claude can now speak and act as if they are me.
Right.
And it is creepy, scary, good when you do so. So if I'm an originator, or I'm a real estate agent, or I'm any other sales professional who's wanting to create content, yeah, Claude's my jam, and I'm going to pay for the Pro or the Plus edition of Claude, and I'm going to really leverage Claude to help me create the best content. But if I want to go ChatGPT, I'm going to go Pro, and I want to use ChatGPT to be more of my assistant. Anything I would ask an assistant to do, I want Chat to do. But just like Claude, I have to program Chat with what I like, how I operate, and what I expect it to do for me. And if I don't like what Chat does for me,
Chat is done. You ask Claude.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. And what's crazier about it being crazy today is I know it's going to be 10 times better in just 2 or 3 years.
Do you know, have you heard of AI agents? Do you know what that is? Do you know what those are? So that's like the next thing. That's like the 2.0 of it. So right now, and I know this because I went down the rabbit hole on YouTube, and then you can get back on your top 5 things, but I think it's good for people to know. AI agents. So right now it's a manual process that requires like input from a human. Like right now, if you wanted to, you have to type a prompt in, and it will just give you like an answer, right? But AI right now, it can't like book a hotel reservation like from start to finish. Like you can't go to ChatGPT and be like, book me a hotel and make me dinner reservations, and just hit enter. But now AI agents are something that they're coming out with, and you'll hear about it later on this year, where basically you tie it in, like you'll log into like AIagent.com or something. You'll have a passcode to log in, and then basically you'll authorize this kind of entity to take control of your computer. So it's like when you're talking to like someone like, hey, let me take like IT, and like, hey, let me log into your computer and take control of it, and they start moving your mouse. The AI agent now will do that for you. So you could be like, before you came to this podcast, you'd be like, I need to book a trip,
flight,
hotel, and I want dinner reservations.
Yeah.
You would prompt that, and like, this is where I'm going. The AI agent would go in by itself, click everything it needs to click, book the ticket, book the reservation, make the reservation. Like if it has to call, it would call the person and be like, hello, I'm booking on behalf of everything. So by the time you're done with this podcast, in your email would be like the confirmation, like the reservation and your ticket, like everything already done for you. So that's what's going to happen. That's why I say it's a wrap, because now instead of having a processor, be like the one at the computer. It's just going to be like an AI agent taking over your computer from wherever you are, where you know.
And I'm sure it'll know that I prefer Delta unless it's not a direct 100%. Flight. So if it's not a direct flight and Southwest is my only direct flight, I'm going to pick Southwest over a Delta connector. Correct. But I'm going to pick Delta over everything else.
Yep.
I don't like to fly as early as 5:30, but I'm willing to go at 6:30.
Yeah. Like, all of that is going to be bundled in, so we don't have to go back and forth like, oh no, give me a 6 o'clock flight. It'll know all of that, and it will take care of all that, so it's completely automated.
Wow. That's
where it's going to be cool and freaky, and that's where we're all going to lose our jobs.
Okay, well, I guess we'll deal with it when it comes. There's nothing we can do.
You got to be aware of it, right? Keep your head on a swivel.
Correct. There's nothing we can do. Like me putting my head in the sand isn't going to make it not happen.
No.
And I might as well learn how to operate with it.
Better get good with them prompts. That's all I'm saying.
Than operate against it. And I coach this and teach this, but like history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that this sounds like. Like this sounds like when cable TV came out.
Right.
This sounds like when fax machines were all the rage. This sounds like when we started having email on our phones. Then it became a smartphone, and then it's like this sounds and looks like so many things. I don't want myself to repeat history, which is I wasn't a fast adopter, right? I wasn't a fast follower. I wasn't an early adopter. I wasn't doing those things. This time, like, no, I'm going to do so. And then if not me, definitely my team, right? Definitely any company I'm a part of. This is what we're going to be doing. So let's run through 3 more.
Okay.
And then I'm going to share with the group at the very end how you can in real time use all of this to create your own content. Mm-hmm. Right? Because we all need to become masters of networking online. We need to get deeper with those 12 or those 2,400 people that are already in our circle of influence. It's not about having to get wider, just a matter of getting deeper. And that's through the content we create and making sure it shows up in their feed.
Right.
All right. So one that I haven't used a lot, but I'm going to start using as I travel the country more and more to speak and present is gamma.app. So GAMMA.app.
Oh, shit.
That's great for presentations and even webinars. So
really?
So we're going to lean hard into coaching loan originators to get one-to-many, right? And one-to-many back in the day was as simple as doing lunch and learns and happy hours. They still work, by the way. They're tried and true. But webinars, I think, are the jam. And webinars, not necessarily for realtors, webinars for home buyers, I think that's the jam. That's where we as loan originators really need to be focused on. Now, in order to do so, I have to have a decent website. I have to be able to run ads to potential home buyers, have those home buyers be attracted to my free webinar, and then at the end of the webinar, I need to have some kind of a good call to action, give away something for free, so ultimately I can generate interest for home ownership as a lender, use that to leverage relationships with the real estate and builder communities, as well as to self-generate leads. So if I wanted to do so and I wasn't the most skilled, I would gladly pay a few bucks a month to have access to something like gamma.app. So check out gamma.app if you're trying to get better with presentations and webinars.
Look at you, Luddite ass, putting people on game.
Yes. All right. Here's one that I do use, and it's Fathom, right? Fathom. Mm-hmm. We use Fathom at the end of every one of our coaching calls. Our students get the transcripts and the notes, right? At the end of everything that you and I do for lower, at the end, we're able to give transcripts and notes. So that way, if I miss the call, I can first read the notes and be like, oh crap, I do want to go back and prioritize this. Or I can say, ooh, I still want to watch it because I should watch it. There's a reason why my company hosted that call, but maybe I don't prioritize it. Maybe it's something I do Sunday between 4 and 6 when I have nothing good to watch on TV and dinner's not ready, right? But make sure you are using Fathom when you're doing your Zoom calls and your Teams calls. You turn it on. It's a virtual assistant. It's going to record everything. It's then going to transcribe it and turn it into notes. So big fan of Fathom. That's Fathom. And then this last one will blow your freaking brain. At least it blew mine. And it blew several of my friends and colleagues. So we are at this event in Greenville. Mike Fitzpatrick is, mega producer. He's on the panel and he's wearing what I thought was a Fitbit. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's wearing a Fitbit. And then during the presentation, he notifies all of us, that's not a Fitbit on his watch. It's called Claude, Plaud. It's a recording device on his wrist that looks like a watch. And he's recording all 4 hours of my presentation, right? Because I kicked off the presentation with the originator's playbook to become a next gen originator, right? Something like that. Then we did a top producer panel. Then I closed it out with the originator's blueprint for success. Okay, so it's a 4-hour event chock full of like some of my greatest hits. And this dude's wearing a watch and records it all. And then all of a sudden, within 24 hours of us getting home from the event, he sends me a 3-page document of all of the notes. And I read it and I was like, damn, yeah. Now, it's not the same as being there live, right? It's not. But if somebody wanted to have an idea of what I coach, what I present on, they at least black ink on white paper can get a sense of everything that was covered. Like, thank goodness. I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, am I going to be out of a job? Thank goodness my voice inflections aren't in there. My humor isn't in there. The eye contact, the body language, the pauses and the voice inflections. Like, thank God the presentation can't be replicated. But then you start thinking of all the things you can do with Claude, right? I mean, PLAUD. Imagine getting one-on-one with a client, recording a face-to-face meeting. It's just a watch you're wearing, so it's not like it's all awkward, like you're putting a microphone in their face. And then you get back to the office. Yeah. You upload that file into your Claude app, and then Claude creates a summary and notes, and then you send your, hey, thank you so much for your time today. For your convenience, here's a summary of our conversation. Like, how professional is that? And it took minutes, not hours.
How did you do that? Oh, I memorize all my conversations. That's how much I listen to my clients.
Yes, but it's like, damn.
Hey, which cohort of the mortgage industry is most at risk if they don't adopt this technology? Great question, John. God, I'm sorry.
Which cohort? Like, yeah. I mean,
which cohort of the mortgage industry do you think?
I mean, anyone who is out there traditionally generating their own leads through a referral network. I mean, yeah, I think at some point as we all age, people slow down, and those real estate agents and those home builders that you were able to rely on 10 years ago, you won't be able to rely on 10 years from now. And those that you will want to rely on, they're going to be expecting you to be living in today's modern world. I mean, it's that originator back in the day who wouldn't get email on their phone. It's the originator 5 years ago who wouldn't text with a borrower. I mean, it's, the originator 10 years ago who wouldn't embrace applying online, right? There's plenty that didn't embrace it. They're probably not in the industry. Maybe they retired or they pivoted into something different. So, I mean, I would say anybody that originates loans for a living, this is the world that we live in. Now, if you work consumer direct, like we were talking about Tomo, now Tomo is going to be using this technology. I don't know if their loan originators necessarily need to, but they should, right? Because if I'm a loan originator at Tomo, you better believe I'm doing a home buyer consultation. We call those pre-approvals, but I call them home buyer consultations. And how cool would it be to record that and then put it into notes and then email those notes to the consumer so that they have a transcript, but not the full transcript, a transcript of the highlights of what we discussed. No, I mean, I think this is the world that we're going into. So we're not asking you to go be futuristic. We're basically teaching you how to be relevant, right? In just 2 years, in just 5 years. And then on that same point of all the different things you can do with the Claude, let's just call it the Fitbit watch that you're wearing. Like, imagine anything that you do, and if you can learn it, you can then use it as a way to bridge a relationship. Maybe I learned how to use Gamma.app, and maybe I can go and teach my financial advisors how they too can use it in their business. All of a sudden, I'm bringing them a thing of value. That value is knowledge. I'm showing them that I care about their business because I'm teaching them how to become more efficient, more effective with what they do. Think about this. What if I was able to sit down with a real estate agent, get out my camera, and interview them? And I sat back and I asked them 20 questions about themselves, their life, why someone should hire them to list their home, why someone should hire them to represent them when they're buying a home, and to talk about 5 reasons why they love certain neighborhoods or 5 reasons why they love the market they serve. So we sat together for 30 minutes. I interviewed them like I can interview you as a guest on this podcast. And then all of a sudden I took it back and I uploaded that file into one of these AI tools. And then I chopped it up and I turned it into content, not for me, but for them. This is a gift I gave them. Now they have 20 pieces of content that they can post as a way to attract more people to hire them to represent them on real estate transactions. Like, this is next level thinking and next level thoughts. Instead of setting up an open house and spending 3 hours with somebody, which I think is a waste of your time. I love working open houses, but not sitting there for 3 hours. I like working them as a way to meet agents I don't already know. And then I can follow up with them on Monday to ask them how the open house went and then try to get them to meet me one-on-one. That's a whole masterclass I could teach maybe later this year. But next level stuff would be just as I explained. So then it becomes, how do loan originators leverage some of this to create their own digital assets? And here's what I learned. This is what you can do. And I would tell you to start with Claude and maybe even Chat, right? You may ask ChatGPT to give you the top 20 questions home buyers have, or the top 10 myths about homeownership, or the top 20 questions mortgage applicants have. Like, you can ask Chat to help you with some of the research, but ultimately you're going to go to Claude and you're going to, after you tell Claude exactly who you are, right? Your experience, they get to know how you speak, right? All the things that you and I talked about. You're then going to ask Claude to give you, hey, Claude, please give me 20 scripts that I can turn into Instagram reels that contain a hook, a description, and a call to action. The total reel needs to be less than 60 seconds. Please use light humor and make it specific to Orlando, Florida, right? Like something along those lines. And then boop, 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 boop. And I'm definitely like oversimplifying this, but it's this easy. And there are loan originators right now doing this. All of a sudden it spits out 20 scripts. You then can take those 20 scripts. You can upload them into whatever app you want to go buy that allows your phone to get turned into a teleprompter. You use your $20 ring light. You use your camera sitting on a tripod. You get yourself centered pretty decently, and you pull up the teleprompter and you start reading. Now, if you're any good, you try to read with some voice inflection, but just read it off. Now you go back, you take that file, you upload it into, we didn't talk about this one, but Opus Pro. Opus is going to be OPUS. Opus is going to allow you to take all of that content and turn it into actual reels with what we call B-roll, right? Edits, right? It'll edit your angle, meaning like, is it a close-up? Is it an extreme close-up? Like they have some editing software that does that, but it'll also like fly in pictures of houses, picture of money, whatever it is that you're talking about, and then put some what do you call them?
Captions.
Some captions on it for you.
Captions, music. So basically now there's no excuse for you not to create content, because you don't need an editor, you don't need a graphic designer, you don't need an audio file guy, you don't need a musician. You just need the wherewithal and the discipline to hit record. Yeah,
you have a hook, you have a description, you have a call to action, and you have captions, music, and edits with B-roll. Like, you can do all that. So then all you have to do is time block 2, let's just say 3 hours in the beginning. It'll end up being 2, but 3 hours a month to create 20 pieces of content per month. And then you can use a scheduling assistant to actually then drop those new pieces of content, let's just say every day at 4 p.m., wherever the case may be. Right? So this is a way that originators today are using these tools to appear bigger, to appear more professional, to get more accomplished, that if it was left up onto their own, they just wouldn't do it because it would be too cumbersome. And we're just scratching the surface.
For sure.
Right? We're just scratching the surface. And then all the things that you're doing with this, you can teach others how to do. You start teaching others. If you're a branch manager, you're attracting loan officers who want to come work for you. If you're an originator, you're attracting realtors who want to come work for you. If you're an owner of a real estate brokerage, you're attracting realtors who want to join your brokerage versus somebody else's brokerage. So you learn it first. You build out your systems and processes and workflows and teach others how to do it. Or Invite others to come be a part of what you're doing because they can just tie into what you've already done. So that's AI and how sales professionals are using it as of March 2025.
Yeah, we should follow up at the end of the year to see what kind of,
way different and way better. If you think about how far we came with Michelle Mendez's episode to today's episode,
shit,
right? Even the episode we did 2-3 weeks ago with Luke Shinkula, I'm way more in tune with AI 3 weeks later than I am today, right? That's 3 weeks. Yeah. So yeah, y'all, look, if you like this type of content, do us a favor. Sharing is caring. Make sure you share this episode, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Friends, colleagues, coworkers. If you are a mortgage loan originator and you are looking for business coaching and sales training, check out everything we're doing at TLOP Online. We have 4 ways you can learn from us. We got the good, we got the great, we got the elite, and
you messed up the order. Don't look at me.
What's that?
Don't look at me for the order.
And we have the basic, which we call
free. I don't know.
No, better, good.
That you started on the wrong tier.
Did I?
And then
it's better, good, great, elite. Good, better, great, elite.
I'm gonna don't make me edit this. What are the core values? What are the core values of TLOP?
Jesus.
Yes, we're here to motivate, inspire, entertain, and
hopefully I just made you laugh.
What are the 4 core tenets we came up with? Remember?
Motivate, educate, entertain, inspire.
Thank you. Geez.
But we don't really motivate anymore.
Yes, you do. You motivate all these people to come get up.
I want to inspire them to change.
Don't nobody give up.
I want to inspire them to change. Well, how about this? If you want to learn more about what we're doing at TLOP, go to our freaking website, tloponline.com. That's where you can see what is coming up next in terms of where am I speaking.
Yep.
That's where you can inquire whether or not you can book me to come speak at your event.
Yep.
If you need career advice, we're giving out free career advice. It's kind of like calling your cool uncle and asking your cool uncle what you should do next within your career.
Hide that pot under the driver's seat.
You might not like the answer that we're going to give you, but we promise it's going to be honest and heartfelt.
Yep.
And yes, if you're looking to get coached, because don't go at this alone, check out what we're doing. We have ways you can learn from us for free. We have entry-level points. We have elite opportunities, and we have our boot camps that we're just kicking ass with. Go to the website. It's all there. Sign up for the newsletter. Go to YouTube. Subscribe. And keep tuning back in because we're just getting started. He's John Coleman. I'm Dustin Owen. You've just tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast. That's all the time we have for you today, but we do look forward to catching you on the next episode.